Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be doing an update to my Project Pan, which is, oh my gosh, super late. I am so sorry, you guys. Like, I work a 5-day-a-week job, basically, and I basically work 8 hours a day, so basically a full-time job. So I don't usually, I guess, get the beauty influencer routine, I guess. Like, I'm not able to film all the time, if that makes sense. Like, and also, like, one thing I want to kind of confess to you guys is I get very disinterested in activities very easily, which includes putting on makeup. So I haven't really been, I guess, doing my makeup all that much to, like, but I have made some, I want to say I've made some pretty good progress. It's just I have only used, like, my makeup maybe, like, 7 times-ish during, like, the course of, like, the past 3 months or so. Like, it is kind of discouraging, but at the same time, like, I want to motivate myself and get through it because, like, I feel like I can't function if I don't. So, like, please try to be understanding and, you know, don't try to take it out on me too hard, because I try. But my depression sucks. But anyways, let's get into this this Project Pan update. My gosh, it's getting emotional. I'm not gonna cry, I promise. For fuck's sake. But anyways, let's get into the first product that I have rolled in, and that is my L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation. And I mean, I did shake it up today, so there is no visible difference. We're still kind of at this line marking, but I want to say I've used this foundation a total of 6 times, and I want to say it's probably gone down, because I use 2 pumps every single time I use this product. I would say if I do my makeup every day after I get off of work, maybe I might be able to get through it by the end of the year, but that's a bit of a stretch. Like, it's a goal to get this done by the end of the year, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. Like, at work I can't usually wear foundation all that much, because when I'm in a cooler all the time, my nose starts to run, and it'll literally ruin anything that's literally in this vicinity of makeup. So I don't usually try to put that much foundation on during work, or concealer really, because, well, yeah, that happens. But I will try to do my makeup every day after work so I can get more uses on said products. But yeah, it's been a total of 6 uses on this, and hopefully we can chug on through it. And just to kind of show you now, I do kind of have a setup to where I can keep everything kind of propped up and everything. I have my vanity now, so I can at least keep my stuff organized and somewhat reachable. Like, I can look at this and see, oh, I can reach for that. But, next up is the Water Drop Primer from Wet n Wild, and I did cut into this just to see how much there is on the inside. I'm going to take the top out, and we still have a fair bit amount in there. Like, I want to say it goes till at least right here. Like, I still feel like I have a good amount of product to go through, like, oof, like at least a few months worth more, or, you know, like, I say a few, and a few could mean several. Like, I could, Like, this could take me months to get through if I'm slow about it, but if I'm quick about it, I could get through this, maybe. But I've used that a total of 6 times in the project. And I did kind of forget to make a line marking. So oh shoot, almost flung it. But so in terms of like spreadsheet wise, like that would be where my L'Oreal Infallible foundation is, and right here is where my primer is. So 6 uses has literally dropped it down that much. That's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty good. If I can, you know, go steadily down through that, I maybe can finish that. Alright, so next up, we've got my e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. And that is what it looks like. I have, like, as you can see, it's gotten quite a, I want to say it's gotten quite a considerable dip on it. And that's another thing that I will remember to do, because I did not do it prior, is taking progress photos. And the only reason why I haven't been doing that is because the storage on my phone kind of doesn't allow me to, like, keep a lot of photos on my phone, so I might not be able to do, like, time lapses of months of progress, but I might be able to do month-to-month progress. It's just if I use the images in a video, I might have to just delete the pictures afterwards just to save space on my phone, if that makes sense. And I will be getting a cam recorder for recording, just because I found one on Amazon and it was really cheap. Like, this is, like, it is meant for specifically filming for YouTube, and I don't know, I just feel like you guys are getting kind of tired of me filming on my phone. But, I mean, like, my phone is working just fine for filming as of right now, but I just feel like maybe, just maybe, the camcorder might be able to make things easier to, you know, do progress photos and all that. But I have used this a total of 7 times in the project. So yeah, that's, I mean, I want to say 7 uses has made quite a considerable dip. I haven't hit pan yet. I haven't gotten to the bottom of the packaging, but I mean, with time makes progress, I guess. Alrighty, next up, we've got my e.l.f. Camo Concealer, and because I had to kind of wave the wand in there to kind of get product, which this is still pretty full of product, I want to say, so the line marking probably hasn't moved quite a bit yet. I want to say, like, I don't know if you'd be able to actually see that. Like, see any windowing, mirroring, or anything like that. Like, it's still pretty full, so, and I found out with both this concealer and my foundation, you need very, very little of this to get the coverage that you want. So this might be a slower progress concealer than I thought, but I'm gonna try to use it more because I've been noticing my my under eyes have been getting like really, really dark lately because I haven't been, like, I get sleep, but it feels like I don't get sleep, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I don't know. But, next up is my Revolution Fast Base Stick Foundation for my brows. And that is how much product we have left, as you can see. I don't think it looks like it hasn't gone down from the last time that I've used it, but I've been mainly like using a brush with this. So I'm not like constantly going like this on my face. I'm mainly using something like, I'm trying to find like a brush to use as an example or something like that, because I have my makeup brushes all in cups now, so it's a lot easier. But for example, like something like this, like a flat packer brush. Like, I use a smaller one to do my brows, obviously, but I'm just using that as an example. But that's what I mainly use that on, and as you can see from the top, it looks like I've dipped into it quite a bit, which I have. I've used it 7 times during the course of this project. And I can actually show a little bit of a line marking, since it does have a little bit of progress. That is what that looks like. I know, it's a really small jump, but I feel like a small jump is still progress. It's still progress. Alrighty, so the next product is my Milani eyeshadow primer in the shade 01 Nude. And as you can see, we do have a little bit of a line mark difference, and I've used this a total of 7 times in the course of the project. So it has jumped only like a little bit from there and there from the past like 3-4 months, I want to say, because like I said, I've kind of grown disinterested in just doing anything really, because I mean, I try to do my coloring and everything. I find I lose motivation to do it, so I'm trying to gain up my motivation, if that makes sense. Alright, so next up, I know, I try to keep, I guess, track of everything. It may seem annoying, but that's just how I like to do it. And everything is on my face today, like all the shades that I have, but the only thing with my eyeshadow is I am including like the black in my palette organically, if that makes sense. So if it seems darker than like the purpley brown that I usually use, then that's why. But anyways, next up is the retractable brow pencil from Wet n Wild, and that is how much we have left. Just making sure I don't crush that. But it looks like I did make a considerable jump just from 7 uses in the project. But 7 uses, and that's how much progress I did? I could probably get through that brow product faster than I thought I could. Alrighty, next up, and I don't know if I'm going to be keeping this product in the project for very long, because I just don't like the finish of it on my lips. Like, I don't know if you can see like the patchiness on the actual lips. Like, it does kind of get a little patchy around like the top of the lip area and whatnot. But this is a very thin formula, and it's a very creamy formula. Like, honestly, probably do it adding another coat. So that's just a reapplication, but it's not exactly a use. But I mainly, like, I feel like the messing up on the top of my lip has to do with my lip liner more than anything, but that's probably just because I don't know how to line my lips. Like, is that bad? I don't know how to line my lips. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know that probably looks weird, but like, it just gets kind of all over the place in a way. But yeah, I've used that a total of 6 uses in the course of the project, and that is how much we have. But like I said, I don't know if I'm going to, like, I feel like I should just keep this as a, like, just put it on my lips every day as just a overall lip color. Which I know that's what a lipstick does, duh, but like, I feel like this could work more as like a almost gloss, if that makes sense. Like, it's that kind of, it's that creamy in a way. Sorry, it like, from afar, it doesn't look like it's that bad, but when I look up really close, I can see like the smudging of my lip liner, and it's kind of bothering me really bad, but I just won't fix it. But it looks like, it does look like I have made a steady progress on this lipstick though. Like, I feel like that's a considerable jump from what like it was at. And I know I sound so optimistic about finishing these products, but it's just like, I mean, it could take me longer to finish them than I hope, but I'm still determined to finish them. I know my hair is freaking crazy, but next up we've got the Maybelline Lash Sensational in the shade dark, black brown basically, and I want to say this is getting close to the end of its life. Like, I can still use it. Don't get me wrong, I can still use it. It's just getting a little drier, to be honest. Like, a little crinkly, but it's not terrible. Like, it's, as you can see, it still makes my lashes look pretty okay. Like, I feel like that's actually a good angle. You could actually see, like, how much length it gives to my lashes. Just a little bit. Like, you can even see it on the lower lashes even. Like, it gives a good amount of length. It just is drying up kind of a bit, so I have to kind of work more quickly to use it. But I have used that in the course of this project now 7 times. Alrighty, next up is my ColourPop LA liquid liner in the shade black. And I have used this 6 times. So I haven't exactly used it like 7 times like some of the other products. And again, I apologize if you can hear any of the construction outside my door. It's literally right there. But I hope you don't mind that, but yeah, I've used that a total of 6 times, and hopefully, like, it hasn't dried out yet, so I still have a good amount of uses on this left to go. It doesn't seem to be giving me any problems, like, it doesn't drag or anything really bad, or feel dry or anything, so I feel like I can still get use out of it. And yes, I know, I'm sorry I'm talking very fast. I have to remember that not everybody has ADHD, or I shouldn't say it's ADHD, because it's a mixture in between, like, anxiety, depression, and possibly ADHD, ADD, or something like that. Like, it's a whole mess of problems. Like, and I'm trying to do my best to, I guess, work through that and try to live normally. And I'm sorry if this seems like, you know, a vent, I guess, but, like, I don't know, I guess you guys just deserve to know. Like, if there's anything going on with me, and I'm not consistently uploading, you know, like, I'll straight up say, you know, like, you know, sometimes when my mental health isn't the best, sometimes I need to take a break. But, anyways, next up is my NYX retractable eyeliner in the shade black. And this is how much we have left. I know that seems like a lot, but I'm going to try to actually use this in my waterline every day before I go to work. Like, I feel like at work I can get away with at least like eyeliner on the lower lash line and mascara. So I'll at least try to do that. Let's just shoot for that as a goal. So we'll be having a lot more uses on that. But I've used it a total of 7 times in the course of the project, and that is the progress jump that we have. It's a very small jump, but I feel like once I start actually incorporating it in my daily routine, I will get through it faster than what I would be getting through it normally in the state I'm in, basically. Alrighty. Next up, we've got my e.l.f. contour palette in the shade Light Medium, and this is the shade I'm focusing on. As you can see, I want to say we've gotten quite a considerable dip. I know it probably looks a little blurry, but I mean, I feel like I've dug into this quite a bit, even though I've only used it like 6 times in the project. Like, I can definitely see where the brush strokes have made like indentations, if that makes sense. But I use this basically like underneath right here and on my nose, so I use very little of it. So this will last me a while, but it's a powder product, so I'm not really worried about that. I'm mainly worried about getting my creams or liquid products all taken care of before they expire. But next up is my BH Vanilla Peach Truffle palette, and that was the shade this is the shade I am focusing on, and as you can see, I have made quite a considerable progress dip in this. Like, you can see the embossing from before has kind of started to wear off a little bit. You can still see it very slightly when I hold it up to the light, but in person you can barely even see the embossing. And I've used this a total of 7 times in the course of the project. And just this shade alone. I am not touching these 3, and I'm not touching these the other 3 shades until I actually get a considerable, like, if I hit pan or if I finish this shade up. Which I know I set like a really outrageous goal from the beginning of using these things up, but I feel like if I don't use a lot of these makeup products up, I'm not going to be able to move on from, you know, 2 other makeup products, like to roll something out and to roll something in. Like, I have to finish it. Like, does that make sense? Like, is that weird for a human mind to work? Because I feel like it is. Like, I feel like I'm giving myself an impossible goal of finishing, like, a blush up or finishing something up, like, but I feel like if I put my mind to it, I can maybe accomplish it. Who knows? Anyways, where is that damn lip liner? Ah, here it is. You know how much trouble this has caused me. I will since it's actually on a good streak with me with rolling up, I will say that is how much we have left. Carefully on. But yeah, this is the jump that it basically had during the time that I've used it. And I will try to like, another note, I will try to, do things more consistently, like uploading Project Pan videos bi-monthly. Remember I promised to do that? Well, that's gonna change. I will actually start filming Project Pan updates, like, bi-monthly. Just so I have enough time to, you know, get through some products. Or, you know, like, not get through some products, but just make, like, steady jumps, I guess. Because I feel like if I do month-to-month updates, then it might not, like, I might not see a very considerable difference, and I might, like, not be encouraged to use a lot of my products, but yeah, we'll just go for bi-monthly. And next up, we've got my Milani Silky Matte Bronzer in the shade 03 Suntan. That is what it looks like. I feel like I've, worn out the middle of the, imprint. Like, there used to be a little rise in the middle. Like, you can still see an indent of the rise in it, like that little center part right there. But I've completely worn that down, and I've, like, I want to say I'm wearing some of the sun rays down a little bit. But, like, I swear, this is literally a never-ending bronzer. Like, no matter how many times I swish my brush into it, it will not budge. But we'll see. Like, if I've already gotten the top of that little knob embossing, like, worn down, then I feel like I can at least work more of the embossing down, if that makes sense. But I have used that a total of 7 times in the course of this project, and I usually have it all over my face, like, or not all over my face, but you can definitely see where I have bronzed. I do go heavy with my bronzer, but I guess until I see pan, we will really never know. Alright. Next up, we've got my Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder in the shade 05 Fair. And, this line marking was a mistake. This line marking is the one that we basically have. And from what, like, I'm trying to, like, tap it down to see if, like, I can create any more windowing. But it looks like it's almost stayed the same in a way. Or that it's, like, right... Actually, I'm gonna make a new line marking for that. You're seeing this live. There we go. Alright, so I think this is where we are at right now. So yeah, that's a little bit of a steady jump in progress, and I've only used this 6 times in the course of the project. And what well, I mean, you guys know what I use to, well, I mean, like, you've only seen me use it once, but I use this to mainly, for my loose powders. For a pressed powder, I will usually use, hang on, where is it? I will usually use this brush for my, pressed powders, which, for example, like, now that I have a pressed powder, I'm just gonna use this organically. Like, I'm not gonna include this in a project pan, but as you can see though, like, from me just using this organically, like, I feel like I've made, like, considerable little dents in it. Like, I can see where the brush strokes are and whatnot. But, with this powder, the HD powder, I'm just going to, or, you know, the pressed finishing powder, I might, like, just use this organically just to, set my makeup and whatnot, because, if you remember when I first did my Project Pan video, this was the only powder I was using. I was only using a pressed powder, so the fact that I have a pressed, I was only using a loose powder, so now that I have a pressed powder, it's, you know, makes it definitely a lot of a difference. Anyway, next up is my Revolution highlighter in the shade Dare to Divulge, and just trying to get the, like, I swear this packaging is going to fall apart on me, I swear to God, but I feel like I've made quite a considerable dent in this. Like, I feel like from me swirling around my brush, I've at least like worn down some of the swirls a little bit. Like, can you see a little any of that? I don't know if you can, but I've used it a total of 6 times in the course of this project, and as you can see, like, I love highlights, so I can at least try to get through this as much as I can. It is just very glittery. Like, if you, I guess if you're looking for a subtle highlight, this isn't for you, but if you're like me and love a fuck ton of highlight, this is it. Or, not this is it, but like, this is a good one to get, because you'll definitely notice the difference. Anyways. Alright, next up is my eyeshadows from my Pan That palette, which I know my Pan That palette seems like a lot of a stretch, because I know 30 shades, like a whole Morphe palette, seems like a lot to, you know, like, for a Pan That palette, but I'm only using 5 shades out of the palette to work on at a time. But, we've got this shade 2, which is right here, and, like, I almost want to point my thing down so I can, like, so I can try to at least show some progress, I guess you could say, on the shades. So that is the shade 2, and it looks like I've gotten quite a considerable little dip on it, but like, I'm nowhere close to pan. I only use this mainly as an inner corner highlight and whatnot, and then like a more golden shade that I usually use with this usually goes on my lid, but this is usually my inner corner highlight. But I have used this a total of 6 times in the course of the project, and just another look, that is what the dent looks like. Alright. I know, I'm only working with one hand here. Give me a second. Alright, next shade is number 15, which is that shade right here. Wait. Alright, so yeah, that is the shade number 15. I wish I had the shade names, because then I'd be able to just point them out really quickly. But sometimes I have to mentally count the shades to see which one that I'm, like, because I kind of lose count. But yeah, that is the shade number 15, and it looks like I have had kind of a considerable dip on it. I have used it a total of 6 times in the project, all over my lid. It is what I am wearing today, as you can see. Like, as you can see, like, I use that mainly on the outer part of the lid, and that shiny part on the inner part is shade number 2. And I also have Flirty Birdie topped off on the top of it just to give it a little more glitter. But next up is shade number 5, which is this shade right here. And I'm just gonna point down for a minute so that you can kind of see the more, like the dent more. But that is what that looks like. And it looks like I've gotten quite a considerable little dip on it. I mean, it's only 6 uses, but like this shade deepens up the crease pretty well. Like, as you can see, like it looks like I almost have a bruise on my eye, but I don't. And this is the black that I'm using organically. Like, I will use this mainly in all of my looks, just to deepen up, like, the outer corner and whatnot. So, I'm not gonna track progress on this, per se. And if I, by any chance, roll it in after I hit pan or finish one of the shades, then I will just simply skip over the black, if that makes sense. But, alright. But yeah, shade number 5 I've used a total of 6 times. I'm pretty sure I've used all of my eyeshadows a total of 6 times, but I just want to make sure that I'm saying, like, how many times I'm using it. And then, shade number 9, the next shade, it has been used a total of 6 times, and it hasn't gotten quite as much of a dip as I thought it would, because I thought I would have been going through lid setting shades a lot more quickly than I thought. But I feel like if I work at it a bit more, like if I do my makeup more at the end of the day at work, or you know, after work, then maybe I can start to see more of a considerable difference. But, shade number 7 is the green. And as you can see, it looks like I've gotten quite a considerable dip here. I mainly use it on the lower lash line. As you can see, like, it's dark. Like, it's a very dark green from what I've been playing around with it as. Like, I could probably use this all over the crease. But I've just been liking that dark, like dark brown purple almost more. Just because that's more my aesthetic. Like, I like dark grungy colors. I like color. But, I mean, with my color story as of right now, like, I don't mind it being a little more neutral. Just because, well, I have to learn how to work with neutrals anyways, because if I want to be a makeup artist, then I've got to learn how to be subtle. Not necessarily with myself per se, like with my way of putting on makeup, but like if I were to put makeup on somebody else, they might not go this level of dramaticness. So I just got to keep that in mind. Alright. So that is the end of the eyeshadow shades. Now for my Alley-Oop Stack the Odds Face Cream Compact. And that is what the bronzer looks like. It's gotten quite a bit dirtier, as I've said. Like I know it'll get dirtier by the day, but if I hold it up in this lighting, can you see the dip in that? That's a good dip. I mean, it may not look like a lot of progress to some people, but that's like a lot of progress to me. Oh. Alright guys, sorry about that. My boyfriend called and he had a package delivered, so I had to go grab it. But as you can see, that is the dip on the bronzer, and I've used that a total of 8 times in the project as of now. Alright, next up is the cream blush, and it doesn't look like I've gotten more of a dip on that than the bronzer, but that's only because I'm using more of a concentrated, I'm using more of a concentrated brush with the bronzer like this. So that's why it has more of a considerable dip than the blush. But I have used this blush a total of 8 times in the course of the project. Alrighty. The highlighter part of it, I've only used 4 times in the project, but as you can see, it's gotten quite a considerable dip, only because I've been using brushes like this for it, if that makes sense. Like, I use like a really, like this brush. I usually use like a very dense brush for this, because I don't usually use it on my face, I usually use it on my body, if that makes sense. Alrighty, but gosh, now that my, I feel like I'm rushing now because my boyfriend's literally called me once, jeez. You see how flustered I get? Alrighty, and then I've got my Persona Swipe Up Brow Gel, which I forgot to update on. I have used this a total of 6 times in the course of this project. And I mean, mainly I'm just using it organically, but like, I've been tracking the progress on it. It's at least 6 times during the course of this project. And I have noticed with this as well, I don't need a whole lot of it, just enough to set my brows. And it does darken your brows quite a bit, so if you get a dark shade, just keep that in mind. Next up, last but not least, is my e.l.f. liquid eyeshadow in the shade Flirty Birdie, and as you can see, the windowing is getting considerably better. Like, this is almost dried out, I want to say, because if you can see from the windowing right there, it looks like it's dried out. But there's still stuff on it. Like, I've used it a total of 6 times in the course of this project, so yeah, we shall see what is going to become of the progress on these. So, I will be doing my Project Pan videos bi-monthly now, and hopefully we can get more progress on it by the next time. So that is all my products today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!